right, so we've been getting a ton of questions. The number one being, can this crazy real estate market that we're experiencing right now, can it continue? Can it go through 2022 at the rate and pace that it is right now? With that, how are mortgage rates that are on the rise going to impact that? Well, this is what we're going to go through today. We're going to go through some metrics. Remember to ask your questions. We've been getting some really great questions. Ask your questions. There's no obligation. That's the super cool part about it. And we get back to you within about 30 minutes or so. Anyway, except for on Sunday. All right. Now, the first question, can this real estate market continue? Is it going to be a bubble? George, are we going to be in a bubble? The answer is yes, the market's going to continue. No, we're not in a bubble because, well, heck, we don't have enough homes. You actually have to. So let's think of it this way. Here we go. We all remember the soapy water and that big ring, and it has a handle and that small dish, and you used to put that thing in there and you used to bring it up, and then you could walk with it and you could make these ginormous bubbles, right? Okay, well, that was 2008, 2009, 2007, even, rolling back a little bit more. 2003 was pretty, well, it was an interesting time also. However, instead of having that great big bubble on that thing, we're getting these little tiny things. We got a little tiny bubble. It's a little bubble, you might as well, that small bottle, and you have a little dipper and it's got the little round ring and you go, pooh, and it actually puts out like a little bubble, okay? Tiny bubble. Not the big bubbles, tiny bubbles. And you might be singing Tiny Bubbles, the song. I think that's some Hawaiian singer, Don Ho or something like that. My grandmother used to listen to. Don't ask me why that came into my head. But anyway, so we have a tiny bubble. You might say, George, how can we have a tiny bubble when all this craziness is happening? Because here's why. Last week, and if you didn't watch last week's, watch last week, right? Here's why. We have 3,071 single-family homes today. That doesn't include condos. Condos are extremely low also. However, we only have 3,000. In fact, most of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we had 2,571 homes-ish. And it's only because our running day average, because Friday is a super happy day. I know, because we all celebrate, because sellers come on market. We went up from 500-ish homes on average each of those days. We're at 809, which is massive. You might say, George, that's like 200 and, I don't know, a little over 200 homes. Yeah, but that's massive because our inventory is so low. It's only at 3,071. And you say, okay, George, give me perspective. All right. Well, we should have about between 10 and 12,000 homes today, right now, this time of year. We've seen highs in the 16,000, 18,000, 22,000 back in 2008, 9 and whatnot, where our inventory, we had a significant amount of inventory. Guys, we're 75% less. We have 25% of the market of where we were at, gosh, what was that, 2018, I think it was, where we had, I think, 10 or 11,000 homes. Look at that, 3,000 throughout the entire Northwest MLS. And you might say, okay, what does that mean? Okay, that is that direction. The Canadian border, Bellingham, whoop, that direction, all the way down to the Tri-Cities, all the way out to the coast, part of Eastern Washington and the Olympic Peninsula, parts of that also, right? It's a massive area. 3,000 homes? 3,000? That's it? That's peanuts. We are seeing such massive, aggressive buyers right now that it's insane, okay? And, the problem is that a lot of them are throwing caution to the wind. And it's a heck of a wind because it's a wind storm out there with some of these buyers as they are just running. It is a flurry of homes. Heck, we've already shown a couple of homes this morning and it's not even 10 o'clock yet. So, and we've got more going on later. Because we have more buyers than inventory, people are being very aggressive, which, remember, We're going to post a link, 6 common mistakes buyers make, which cost them thousands of dollars. We will put that in so that you guys can actually see some of that information. It is another video, and we'll make sure that that gets up. All right. Now, when we take a look at active inventory, this is year over year. So January and January 2021, which was crazy, 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 had more inventory and slightly lower rates. We are only down 13.1%. You might say, George, 13.1, that's a pretty big number. No, it's only 500 homes. That is nothing, right? New on market is down year over year, 9.3%. That's only 400 homes. But when we look at it month over month, when we look at December, we're actually up 24%. Why? Well, not a lot of people come on market in the month of December. Okay, we had some, but not a lot. And that's normal. That's a normal seasonality. Okay? Now, pended are down 7.8%, roughly about 400 homes, but we're up month over month 7.9%. Why? Because more people are a little bit more active, and not a little bit more active. It's craziness out there. I'll tell you, we were at a house yesterday, and there was just no place to park. I mean, the street for a quarter of a mile we had to walk to get to see the house, and it was crazy. There's just, again, not enough inventory. There's a lot of issues that we're running into, and for sellers, I'm telling you, if you are seriously sitting on the fence, stop sitting on the fence. Get rid of the stirrups. All right, get out there, get your home on the market, because you will get absolute guaranteed 100%, if not more than market value, just because there is no inventory. All right. Solds are down 15.4% year over year. That's 700 homes. When you take a look at the fact that we are struggling with inventory, that is not a surprise. When we take a look at it month over month, you say, oh my gosh, George, it's down 38.7%. All right, so remember, everything is looking in the rearview mirror. December sales were November contracts, okay? So November was a better month, carries over into December. This is completely normal. Plus, look, we are struggling for inventory. There's nothing here. Look, in the last 7 days, single family, we had 809 homes. That's our 7-day running average, okay? And if it weren't for Fridays, that would be 500. And I could always print off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and show you how those numbers absolutely just tank. And then Friday, boom, it explodes, which is normal, okay? The however is, this needs to be closer to 10,000 to meet the demand, and we still would be able to absorb it. You guys might remember the sponge, right? Right now, if you had a sponge, and it was so funny, one of the folks responded back saying that his son corrected him on this, on his dad, when he was trying to explain the sponge theory, right, on absorption. So right now, we have a super dry sponge. What that means is, you take your sponge from your kitchen sink, you put it on the counter, right? And as you can start adding water to a dry sponge, and it keeps taking it in and taking it in. It'll keep absorbing that water. Now, I'm not saying, dump a pitcher on it, instantaneously, right? It's called, pouring it in, all right? And the sponge will continue to absorb and continue to absorb. And then at a point, all of a sudden, it quits absorbing, and then all of a sudden, you get that little ring around, right? Okay, so that point right there would be the 4 months, having 4 months of inventory, right? Just before that little ring of water. And then as you add a little bit more, you get the ring of water around the sponge, meaning it's not really taking a whole lot in. That's your 4 to 6 months of inventory. That is a balanced market. That's where the sponge is in balance. Right now, we are a withered up, dried up, pruned up sponge that's been sitting out in the sun, baking at 90 degrees for a week, and you're going to put that on the counter. That's where we're at. To give you perspective, we could add a lot more inventory, and the market would absolutely absorb it. And we have seen that month over month, even in 2021, as we were going through here. And it is worse right now. Worse. We have less inventory. 13%, 9.3%. We're still When we take a look at it month over month, we're a tad bit over, but that's not uncommon. All right. Now, you're going to hear some questions. George, I think there's a bubble. All right. Okay, well, in order to have a bubble, you got to have inventory, and that we don't have. And until we start seeing that, in which I do not expect that this year at all. This year, as you guys might remember, in our October, November, December, well, actually, we've been talking about this longer now. But anyway, 2022 is going to continue to be a crazy, crazy market. Okay? Yes, interest rates are going to go up. Yes, that was predicted. Yes, we said at the end of Q3 that, to expect par pricing to be somewhere around 3.5%. Okay, well, guess what, kids? We're there. No, we're not at the end of Q3, but there's a lot of volatility that was not seen until closer to December of some international issues, which is going to create some volatility. We have some, not economic volatility necessarily, but we've got some presidential, congressional, representative volatility with a lot of things going up and down. And, well, that's what's going to have a big impact on rates and consumer confidence and confidence, with the investors being your big corporate investors. So watch your 10-year treasuries. It's going to give you a very good metric as to what rates are doing, okay? All right. So as we come through, we can see that our numbers are still horrifically low. When we come down here, new on market, 809. We had 1,255. That's the lowest number this week. Is that true? No, 1,100 was the lowest. 1380 was the most. 1255. We're going to say that's the middle of the road. But you can see, based on these small numbers, okay, and these are small numbers, right? 3,071. If I'm taking, let's just say roughly, right, 400 homes, right? I'm taking 400 homes off the market, then came on market. That directly affects this number. Because again, if it hadn't been for this big jump of 350 some odd homes, this would be the 2571 that we've been seeing all week long. And no, that's not going to change. And yes, it is going to get worse. Mid-February, as we're starting to roll into that, we're going to see our spring market. That's when we start to take off. Now, the question is, are we going to fizzle? Or are we going to take off? If we fizzle, it's because we just don't have any more inventory. I think we're at like 4.5 days of inventory right now. And that's a really, really, really tough situation, because then people end up doing things that probably are not in their best interest, but because they have the auctioneering syndrome, because they're just not stepping back and making sure they're making a good business decision. Or they may say, oh no, that's a good one now. Okay, well, be careful, right? All right, when we take a look at this, when we take a look at rates, par pricing 3.75%, par pricing today 4.35%, non-owner occupied par pricing. Okay, those numbers are going to continue to hold, but are we going to push into the fours in February and March? Sadly, I think that is going to become part of the case. I know that lenders right now are just doing everything they can to keep they have to maintain a profit margin, right? Because remember, the feds have nothing to do with mortgage rates, right? They deal with HELOCs, home equity line of credit. They deal with your car payment, your credit card, your business loans, okay? That is what the Fed rate does. Mortgage pricing, 10-year treasury, bonds, mortgage-backed securities. Watch those. The government's pulling back on, or what they call tapering. That's the new word of the year, tapering. I like the fact that they come up with these interesting words to, it's like the dentist, and when he's going to give you that shot, right? You're not going to feel a pinch, right? Pinch isn't a very exciting word. You can feel some pressure. It's easier. Just like the feds are saying, we're going to do some tapering. Hey, listen, man, it's going to be a pinch, okay? Let's just call it what it is, right? And it is going to be potentially painful, because that will have a small ripple effect. But again, watch the 10-year treasuries. It's going to be a great metric to let you know what rates are doing. And you might say, George, why are you spending so much time on rate right now? It's very simple. The higher the rate, the lower the amount that you can qualify for. That's what it means. The lower the rate, the more you can qualify for. That's why looking at doing buy downs or doing a 7-1 or a 5-1 year arm might be advantageous to you if you're not going to keep the home for 30 years or 10 years or more. Things like this, because the rate will be a lot more beneficial. All right, if you need a deeper explanation of that one, let me know and we'll shoot that off to you. All right, all things considered, our market is doing super, super crazy. No, I do not foresee a bubble. This year, we're still going to see, 10, 12% appreciation. Next year, I think we are. As interest rates continue to grow, we will start to see hopefully a little bit more inventory than what we're seeing. We're going to see 8 to 10% appreciation in 2022 or 2023. And then we'll taper off. There's taper. I'm going to use that government word. We're going to start tapering our pressure off. We're not going to see a price reduction, but we're going to see more inventory. We're going to see things soften a little bit into 2024. And then I think 2025, our market will pop back up again. The reason I'm going through that is that we've had some questions. Mid-February, expect, we're either going to explode or fizzle depending on the amount of activity that comes on. You guys might remember those pop rocks, the fizz and whatnot. Anyway, so there you go. All right. If you have any questions, reach out. Hey, subscribe. Tell us what you think. All right. By subscribing tells us that you like the information. Make sure that you're sharing it with others. One, I'm fun to listen to, right? And two, it's real time and it doesn't cost you anything. So make sure that you share and subscribe. Hit that little bell so you get updated when we're doing these videos. We'll be doing we have a 10 pitfalls to avoid on a building inspection. All right. And so I'm going to take those 10 points because it was a video from a while ago. I'm going to be redoing it. We're going to do what we call the on location and pulling in not only a few inspectors, a couple of contractors that I know. We're going to do some videos, things to look at, things to be aware of. And hopefully that'll be a really fabulous series. If you have something that you want to learn or to know, ask. Hey, we do videos all the time. We will do one for you and then fire that off. In the meantime, have a beautiful day. It is, you can kind of see the sun back there. It is going to be a beautiful day today. Go out, spend time with the family, be safe. But it is going to be stunning again today. I'll catch you guys in the next video and go have fun. Take care.